Huh, that doesn't look right. This is the upcoming Air Jordan 3 Rare Air, and it's one of the more anticipated and interesting pairs of Air Jordan 3s to drop this year. And I know people say this all the time, but this is one of those shoes that when you get it in hand, it's crazy. So in 2025, Jordan Brand is bringing back their Rare Air theme from the mid-2000s, a theme that's actually inspired by mistakes. Essentially, the concept is based on imperfect samples and misplaced logos, as you see on the back of the shoe. It's a pretty cool concept, and I think they did a great job with the Air Jordan 3. As you probably know, the Air Jordan 3s are not the only pairs of Jordans to get the Rare Air treatment this year. We had the Air Jordan 1s that just recently released. There was the men's pair and the women's pair. Those pairs, unfortunately, didn't do too well for Jordan Brand. I think they're still sitting in stores, and you can buy them for under retail right now through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen, but there are two pairs of sneakers that I think people are really excited for, and that of course is the Air Jordan 3s and the upcoming Air Jordan 4s, which we've already reviewed. And again, all of these shoes are meant to feature imperfections. Obviously, they're not actually imperfections, but they are meant to look like imperfections. And after seeing both the Air Jordan 4 and the Air Jordan 3 in hand, I personally think I prefer the Air Jordan 3. Maybe that's a take that not everyone agrees with, but I think this shoe is the best of the 3 or 4 that are dropping this year. Of course, if you want to grab a pair of the Rare Air, it's really hard to say that, the Rare Air Jordan 3s, they drop on May 30th for a retail price of $200. But right now, again, through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen, you can grab a pair of these early for resale for like $220. I'm sure the price is going to drop below retail as we continue on, but the prices are not crazy for these. In fact, I bought my pair from GOAT for instant ship, I think for like $240, and that's with instant ship, which is like an extra $30. So the price is not crazy. But hey, before we dive any deeper into this pretty fire pair of sneakers, let's first take a look at the box. Jordan Brand is back at it again with the Michael Jordan face, the classic retro design on the top of the box in black. I think it's a very cool look. It's actually kind of hard to see. When I pulled it out of the box in my kitchen, my wife was like, "Why is there a face on the top of that box?" And I'm like, "It's MJ. What are you talking about?" She's not used to the face boxes, but hey, not everybody is. If you weren't into Jordans, a couple decades ago, you won't remember this, but it's a cool callback to the original Air Jordan sneakers. The box, of course, comes primarily in black. There's not a huge amount going on the rest of the box. You've got the red Jordan with the flight text underneath, which is something you usually find on Air Jordan 4 boxes. You've got the size tag on the front. Of course, I grabbed a size 9, which is my true size. The official name of this colorway is Air Jordan 3 Retro OG in the black, chili red, neutral gray colorway. And then one other detail I wanted to show you guys was the top of the box, because when you open this box up, you've obviously got the elephant print paper, which is funny because there's no elephant print on the shoe, but it is an Air Jordan 3, so it kind of makes sense. On the top of the box, you've got the Air Jordan 4, I guess the Jordan Flight logo right there. I'm so used to it being an Air Jordan 4 logo, but it's on a lot of different stuff. You've got the Jumpman in red, of course, with the flight text underneath in black. But overall, simple and clean packaging for this pretty simple and clean pair of shoes. But hey, with the package out of the way, let's get back into the sneakers. These are so clean. I really like these. They're very, it's probably not the right word, but playful. I feel like this is a little bit more of like a fun, like, this could be a GS colorway and I wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, I'm not mad at it being a men's colorway. I think it's something that's pretty easy to rock. It's really just the uses of the bright red and the blue that make it feel like that. But hey, with that being said, getting into the sneakers, starting off around the toe, you've got this really nice dark gray suede. Obviously, this is where the elephant print on the shoe would usually go. In this case, they replace the elephant print with suedes and possibly nubuck, but it looks like it's all suede. I'm not always a huge fan of Jordan Brand doing that, but it works out well in certain colorways like the Ama Maniere 3s and shoes like that. And on this colorway, I'm kind of into it. Just above that, you've got two different black tumbled leather panels, one on the bottom half of the upper and one on the top half of the upper. The tumbled leather feels decent. It's not the softest leather in the world, but it feels like a standard pair of Air Jordan 3s. Now, one thing you might notice is that the tumbled leather texture changes from shoe to shoe. So on the right shoe, it seems, at least in my pair, like it's a very wide tumbled leather texture. And then on the left shoe, it's more of a tighter tumble, I guess. It's not like a detail that you're going to notice when they're on someone's feet, but when you're looking at the shoes closely, you notice that there are some differences. But obviously, that's because they're trying to make the shoes look a little bit more organic, a little bit more real, and not like possibly synthetic leather or not great real leather. People always give me crap about talking about the leather, saying it's not great. I mean, it's Jordan Brand leather. Like, this is a mass-produced pair of sneakers. They're not going to buy like the nicest leather out there and drop it on the shoe. The shoe would be $1,000 if they did that. What they're doing is, in some cases, making certain panels of this shoe synthetic leather because it feels just like regular leather, to be honest with you. And they're using cheaper leathers on a majority of the upper of the shoe. So with this shoe, I'm not sure which panels would be synthetic and which aren't. It's possible that none of them are synthetic. I'm not totally sure unless I cut this open, but generally the leather used on Jordan sneakers is not amazing. So really, when you're comparing leather quality, it kind of just comes down to your own personal preference. The tumbled leather texture is added. It's not something that's on the cow. I mean, it's a detail that Jordan Brand adds, or I guess leather makers, wow, I sounded like really good and then I just totally sounded like an idiot. Leather makers. I mean, cows, I guess, are the leather makers. I don't know. But either way, what I'm trying to say is that it really comes down to your personal preference. On this shoe, it feels fun. It's nothing special, but it feels fun. As we continue backwards towards the eye stay area of the shoe, you've got these gray plastic eyelets right there towards the bottom of the tongue. And And then just above that, you've got this pretty hairy feeling gray suede material, which I actually really like the look of. Now, one thing I've noticed, only having these shoes for a day or two at this point, is that the laces pick up a lot of the suede. Like, these laces are black, and they actually take a lot of the suede with them when you tie the shoe. So you're gonna get like these sort of, I wouldn't call it like crusty light material, but you get some residue from the suede on your laces, which doesn't look great on black laces. The good news is though, the Jordan Brand does give you a second set of laces, a cream set of laces, which actually matches different parts of the shoe, and that will obviously help kind of alleviate the grayness on the laces. Just a heads up, this suede, although it looks nice, it does shed, and it gets on the laces pretty bad. And like I said, I literally just pulled these shoes out of the box yesterday, and they've already got, actually they came out of the box with the gray stuff on the laces, so just heads up on that. Not a deal breaker though, really not that big of a deal, but you might have to clean your laces, which is not something I usually do. Although speaking of which, if you do want to clean your laces, or I guess the shoe itself, you can use Apothecary wipes, which come free with every order on apothecary.com. And if you use my code Seth, you get $5 off of your first order on Apothecary's website, linked in the top of the description below. Thought that was a good area for a promo, so check it out. Underneath the black flat laces though, you do have more of that suede material, which again probably contributes to some of the grayness on the laces. The suede looks really nice, it feels really nice, it does actually get in the sock liner of the shoe too. But it feels very premium, even though I don't know if it is or not, but I love the way it looks. In the center of the tongue, you've got this red embroidered Jumpman, which again is a nice pop of color on the front of the shoe. In fact, the front half of the shoe, if you just look at it like this, kind of looks like a pair of black cement 3s. My favorite Air Jordan 3 of all time, so I'm really not mad at that. As you move inside the sneaker, on the back of the tongue, you've got this nice bright blue fabric, and then rounding off the rest of the sock liner, it comes in black, again with some gray suede making its way onto the material. Rounding off the inside of the shoe, you do have a blue insole, sort of a nice blue foam insole, and it features the Rare Air branding printed on the heel in white and red. But to figure out sizing, why don't we throw these guys on feet on the try-on deck and see how they feel. All right, so I've got another pair of shoes to show you, and I want to get your opinion before I try them on for sizing. What do you think of the Rare Air 3s?
Oh, I like them.
Out of 10, what would you give them?
I don't know, 7 or 8.
Okay, what do you like about them? My daughter really likes them apparently, which is great.
I like the colors.
I do too. I really do too. So it's not an original colorway, but it's actually a new Air Jordan 3 colorway. But I really dig it. It's kind of, I mean, I don't know if it's a pair that I'm gonna rock like every day, but it is a good everyday pair though, to be honest, like colorway wise. Would you rock these? Like if you had a pair of these?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they're gonna, I think they might, I don't know if they'll go to outlets, but they're not gonna be hard to get. But it's not crazy if you want a pair of these, because I think they'll be going for under retail. I mean, they're basically retail on StockX right now and like other resale sites. Actually, really quick, what do you think of the new Apothecary heat map collection? We got the shirt, we got the socks, we're getting some nice sunlight to kind of highlight the entire collection. What do you feel about it?
I really like the socks.
The socks are crazy,
the shirt's
right?
cool too. The socks are really nice.
I've been wearing these like every single day. And there's like 4 different colorways. There's white and blue, there's black and blue and red, and then there's like this one, and then what's the third one? Oh, like there's sort of a purplish orange. It's sick. I've been wearing this shirt. You guys might have seen it in videos for like months at this point. But all this stuff drops this upcoming Friday, so make sure to check it out. It's gonna be on the website, apothecary.com. But here we go. Let's do the try on. Let's see how they fit. See how they feel on foot. I mean, first impressions, without tying the laces, they feel just like every other pair of Air Jordan 3s. I mean, did you expect anything different? Probably not. So for me, I would say these are true to size. They are pretty comfy on foot, I'm not gonna lie. And the materials, whew, they look good. How do you feel about the on foot?
Yeah, they're nice.
They are nice, right? They actually kind of match with the whole black, blue vibe I got going on. Yeah, I really dig these. Again, sizing wise, they're just like every other pair of Air Jordan 3s. It's true to size. Grab your size, you should be good to go. And actually the gray, the gray from the socks, look at that combo. Woo, crazy. All right, that being said, back to the studio. Continuing back in the shoe, you've got more of that black tumbled leather. Towards the top of the ankle area, you've got some blue, possibly synthetic nubuck or just blue nubuck. It's very, very bright blue, which I actually like a lot, and it matches this midfoot panel pretty well as well, which it should, because it's all one shade of blue, although it is slightly different. Just below that, you've got your classic Air Jordan 3 heel panel, which in this case comes in light gray suede, which matches the tongue and some of the eye stay paneling. It's not as hairy as those panels, but it is still a nice detail. And then finally moving around to the back of the shoe, you get to the part of the shoe that I guess is the Rare Air touch, at least the only one that I can find, and that is the heel tab, which comes in cream, and then you've got your Nike Air branding in red. But you may have noticed that on one side of the pair, it's backwards. In fact, it's basically just mirrored, and I think it gives this shoe a very cool and unique look, because obviously the lettering is backwards as well. Now, I could be totally wrong about this. I'm not gonna look it up, and let me know in the comment section down below if I'm wrong about this, but I think the Chicago pair of Air Jordan 3s, the all red pair from like a couple All-Star weekends ago, had a backwards Nike swoosh as well, or maybe the Japanese pair had a backwards Nike swoosh. I don't know. That's probably wrong. Don't quote me on that. There is a pair of Air Jordan 3s, I'm pretty sure, that has a backwards Nike swoosh. I'm sure you guys are all typing in the comments, yo, you're so stupid, it's this. I don't remember off the top of my head. I should have looked it up. I really should have, but that's on me. Either way, it's a very cool touch. I like the way it looks a lot. Man, I'm losing all my credibility in this video. It's all good though. We've got, I think, a nice pop of color with that bright red, especially on the cream base. I think it looks really, really good. It's my favorite part of the shoe. I mean, look how clean that looks. That's so cool. That's such a nice hit. On the medial side of the shoe, it's basically the same thing you got on the lateral side. Nothing crazy, the same materials, the same paneling. Then moving down on the shoe, you get another nice pop of color with the midsole. You've got sort of a split midsole. It's split in half in a couple different ways, actually. You've got cream on the bottom, and then on the top part, you've got a blue hit towards the forefoot, and then a black hit that wraps around the back of the shoe. And it's a very, very nice looking midsole. I think it's a nice touch. It's a nice pop of color. It kind of adds a nice bit of playfulness to the shoe, which I was talking about earlier, and I don't mind it. I actually really don't mind that detail at all. Of course, like every other pair of Air Jordan 3s, this is probably never going to change. You've got the air unit in the heel right there. It's clear. The pillars are white, it looks like, or maybe they're cream actually to match the midsole. Then we get to the outsole of the shoe. You got a primarily light gray outsole to match the suede hits. You've got red on the forefoot, a blue Nike logo towards the heel, and that's pretty much all she wrote. She did a good job writing it too. It looks good. I really like this shoe a lot. I actually really, really like it a lot. I think I might even like it more than the Lucky Shorts, possibly. I might like that shoe better. I don't know, it's a toss-up for me. It's a toss-up. Well, no, the heel tab area, that might be the deciding factor. I might like these more than the Lucky Shorts, which is one of my favorite pairs of 3s to drop this year. So this is definitely up there for me. I like it better than the Amo Maniers. I said it. There you go. Now, I don't know how difficult these are gonna be to get. I would guess that they would sit. Now, to be fair, I would say if you want a pair of these, try and go out to the store and grab them on release day to make sure that you don't miss out in your size, because I think that's also possible. But generally, I would say that these are probably gonna be sitters and possibly outlet bound. Don't think they're gonna be impossible to get. Don't even think they're gonna be hard to get. But I would say if you want a pair, maybe grab it from the Nike Sneakers app. You have like 30 days to return it if you don't wear it. Wait and see if they go to outlets, and then maybe return it and buy it from the outlet if that, ends up happening. Either way, very, very clean pair of sneakers. I think it's very easy to rock, especially with a black outfit like this with the upcoming Heat Map collection. And personally, if I was to give it like a number rating, I guess, with the Black Cement 3s being my favorite Air Jordan 3s of all time, out of 10, I think my wife was right. I think like 7, 8. I think that's not too far off. I dig them. Let me know your thoughts on these in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Also, check out my Shoes Off podcast, linked in the description below, and my tech channel. A lot of stuff to plug today. I'll see you guys in the next one.